Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello everyone, welcome to OpenLine on Tuesday night. I am Ben Hall. We are talking all about the Holly Bobo case. Another day in this case, another new big developments in this case. We are very happy to have with us our legal analyst, Nick Leonardo, to help us walk through all of this. Nick, thank you for being here.
Always a pleasure, Ben.
Big deal today. Somebody was supposed to show up in court. He wasn't in court. We're going to show a story here from Nick Barris here in a few minutes. He was out there. Kind of set the stage. So someone was supposed to be in court and he wasn't there. Is that unusual? What about that?
Well, believe it or not, it happens quite frequently in the criminal court process. The Department of Corrections and also, each local county jail, they have, a lot of inmates to get to various places in court, different courts from general sessions to criminal court and the like. And, sometimes people just fall through the cracks. I mean, a lot of times the clerk, is supposed to issue a transportation order, and it tells the jailer to bring that person to court. But sometimes maybe the clerk forgot to do that. And even if the clerk does that, sometimes, jailers are sick. They have a hard time. With their staff. So this is a frequent thing to have an inmate not show up for court on just a regular motion hearing. That doesn't normally happen on the day of a trial.
This case is so bizarre and so disturbing. In this case today, they were going to talk about a video that supposedly exists of Holly Bobo after she was abducted. A disturbing video that no one has seen, and yet people have been arrested and charged in this case. I mean, how unusual is what we're seeing with all this?
Well, I mean, it's very unusual. I mean, I think if you live in West Tennessee, you've probably got a 1 in 10 chance of being arrested in the Bobo case. I mean, that's kind of where we are in this particular criminal prosecution. But there is no video, and I believe the only piece of evidence that they have is this particular witness who said that she saw a video, and in that video there was a woman named Holly, and it appeared to be a young woman that maybe matched those dimensions, but they do not have that video that the woman claims to have seen. And so these individuals' lives have been ruined by this arrest, and all you have is a disgruntled individual saying she saw a video.
And the fact that this person wasn't in court today and they don't have a video, is there some correlation? Do you think they're stalling, or do you think it's legitimate that it was just a mix-up?
I mean, I think it's legitimate. Obviously, I don't know how often the TV cameras get down to West Tennessee, but you would think that, they would not want that to occur on a day like today. But, I would give the benefit of the doubt to just the process and, those kind of things just happening, people falling through the cracks like that. But, I think the judge made it very clear that the next time the case was set, he wanted to make sure to ensure that one of those Piercy brothers was actually in court. So I don't know that I would say that the DA was doing that to gain a tactical advantage. I think they've done some other things with the Piercy brothers to gain a tactical advantage.
The Piercy brothers, and you said if you live in West Tennessee, you have a 1 in 10 chance of being arrested in this case. So you think this is being done in somewhat of a sloppy manner?
Well, I mean, I think that in a cold case situation like this, the district attorney and the police department, they have to look at all the evidence that they've gathered in the investigation so far and make a determination as to whether or not it's time to move forward. So at some point, this is as good as it gets, I guess, from their perspective. Witnesses, could die, they could move, they relocate, police officers do the same. So I think they presented this to a grand jury on the Adams boys because this is as good as the evidence is going to get. And then I think they were hoping when they got into jail probably that one might squeal on the other, because they look for that all the time in the criminal process. One, co-defendant telling on the other didn't quite pan out like they wanted, and so people are starting to come forward, and it's hard to distinguish between the rumor mill and the actual facts. But as it pertains to these Piercy brothers, what they did, in my understanding again, is what they did was that they went and arrested these two brothers and then issued a search warrant for all of their electronic devices. And typically how that would be handled is that if you got a tip, you would issue the search warrant for the electronic devices, take those back to your headquarters, forensically evaluate those, determine whether or not that evidence exists, or there, or maybe it was erased and they could bring it back, and then they would go arrest those individuals. So I think they kind of put the cart before the horse in this particular situation. But again, I'm not privy to everything that General McAdams knows, the TBI knows, but from what's coming out in the media, it seems like they've gotten a little bit of a rush on these two brothers.
So let's take a look now at the report that Nick Barris filed today. A big no-show in the Holly Bobo case. This was Nick Barris' story. It aired at 6 o'clock. Then we'll come back and talk about it.
An angry judge and a frustrated family. That was the takeaway this morning from a court hearing here in the Holly Bobo case. A very crowded courtroom, but the key suspect was nowhere to be found. Mark Piercy, who is accused of having video of Holly Bobo after she disappeared, was a no-show in court. That left his new attorney to face an angry judge and to answer frustrations voiced by a spokesperson for the Holly Bobo family.
Contempt action in court is going to come into play?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The family is confused and you know, they can't understand why this took place this morning.
I don't want to put blame on anybody else. I'm of course still in the early stages of my representation here, and he was not transported for whatever reason he does.
So why didn't Piercy show? Well, we know that Piercy is already being held on federal gun charges in Jackson, and it appears as though there was a miscommunication between the district attorney's office and the U.S. Marshals. They never got him here to the courthouse. The judge, very frustrated by this, made it very clear he does not want a mess up like this again. In Decatur County, Nick Barris, News Channel 5 HD.
So the judge upset, a lot of people in court, person doesn't show. But the bigger issue is this video. Does it exist? And Mark Piercy, his attorneys say it does not exist. The TBI, I guess, is saying it does exist. You were saying there's a little bit of cart before the horse here. What evidence is there out there that this does exist, this video?
Well, I mean, at this time, all you have is this particular witness's, testimony that she saw a video, and in that video, the individual was referred to as Holly, and that it was a young blonde girl. Now, the Piercy brothers have gone to the media, and they've said, that was the name for a previous girlfriend or a previous wife, who does have, who is blonde and appears to fit those dimensions. But there is not a Holly Bobo video, and and I don't believe the TBI has said that. But at this stage and where they are now in the process, I mean, they're having a preliminary hearing. The only thing the judge has to determine is their probable cause to believe a crime was committed, and was one of the Piercy brothers may be involved. And so that woman's testimony that she saw that would be enough to get them past this first threshold at this probable cause hearing and keep the state in the game, if you will.
And we are going to hear the entire testimony. She was questioned by the prosecution as Sandra King, and this was from July 29th. We're going to hear that in a few moments. But like you said, to be charged in connection with this case is just devastating for your career, your personal life, everything. So Mark Piercy now, he's been charged in connection with the Holly Bobo case in some of the most disturbing ways possible, that there's a video in which she's being tortured, essentially, and he's saying that's not true at all, and the state can't produce the video.
I don't believe the state has the video. I mean, I think and I could be wrong again, I'm not privy to that, you're not as well, but I would think if the state had the video, they would have a police officer up there testifying who did the forensic analysis of that particular, a personal device that says, I did go through the device, I did find a video, and it does appear that this person resembles, then you have the gasp in the courtroom, okay? They don't have that. And so they're going with what they started off with and all that they have, and that is that they have that witness who says that she saw it. But again, I don't know if I've said this yet, but I believe that one of the Piercy brothers testified against this witness's son in a previous criminal case down there where her son went to jail for rape of a child is what the crime is called, and it's a penitentiary sentence. It's a very long sentence. I think he got 22 years in the penitentiary, and I guess there's some bad blood between who we're going to watch this evening on this clip and these Piercy brothers. And so maybe there potentially could have been the motivation for that. But another thing to point out is that when this particular individual was set for a preliminary hearing about maybe a month ago, there were motions filed to dismiss this case, and they were going to make the state really put their evidence out there. But before they could do that, the Friday before that Monday, the state had him transferred to the custody of the U.S. Marshals and had him booked in on a federal guns charge. So he just he wasn't around for that hearing date. So again, I don't believe that they wanted him to go forward at that time. I just don't think that they have that piece of evidence, and
that's a big deal.
We'll see.
That's a big deal if they don't have. Let's go to Philip on line one here. Hello, Philip.
Hey, good evening.
Hi, what's on your mind?
Here's what I think. I think the prosecutor, the detectives, anyone involved in this case, and I'm sorry for the Bobo family, but anybody, any law enforcement involved in this case should be thrown in jail. Anybody that's in jail should be released from jail. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. This is not a Bobo case. This is a bozo case, and it needs evidence or shut up. I'm tired of hearing about it. It's insanity how law enforcement is allowed to just throw these people behind bars with no evidence whatsoever. This is America. This doesn't happen in this country.
All right, Philip, thank you.
God.
That's very passionate. What about what he's saying? Obviously, frustration there. What about what he's saying?
Sounds like you might live in West Tennessee, but you know, I mean, I guess that's probably one, you know, half of the puzzle here. And I firmly believe, Philip, that, you know, our law enforcement officers do the very best that they can, and I think that they're trying to find out, you know, what happened to Miss Bobo. I mean, at this point in time, we do not even know that she's dead. I mean, look at Ariel Castro in Cleveland, not Cleveland, Tennessee, but Cleveland, Ohio, and those girls were missing for 10 years. Everybody thought they were dead, and they were not. So, you know, that's the first thing that the state's going to have to get past, is the fact that we don't even know that she's dead.
Mm-hmm. Wow. All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to listen to basically the video of Sandra King being questioned by the prosecution. This happened on July 29th. She is the one who is accusing Mark Percy and his brother. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.